Hello and welcome to another tutorial with Photoshop. And this time we're going to make an image like this. And for this image we need a foreground image with trees and a point of view from underneath the forest tops. And we need a moon surface. I will try to make this background with brushes I have. Uh, let's see how that goes. But I hope we will make it as good as possible. Okay, so we will start out by having this camera raw file, and I will put it inside Photoshop. And what I want to do now is I want to have as much contrast between the trees and the sky as possible. So underneath the basic tab inside camera raw, I choose to just slide the exponent a bit to the dark, and then I go to the SHL adjustments and I make the sky a bit more bright like this. And before this, I also make an profile correction for the lens, so it won't adapt later on when I made the layer mask. And I also always click this remove chromatic aberration. I know to some of you there are some amount of color being removed amongst edges, but I think this is a nice consequent way to just remove some chromatic aberration. I could also go to the sharpening details, but I leave that for now. I will get back into the camera later. And to do that, I need to make sure that this is opened up in Photoshop as a smart object. Okay, remember that, that's very important. Press OK, and I open up this object. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to remove the background as good as possible. But as I always say when we're starting to mask something, how big is the image? Is it going to be applied on a bottle label in a picture this big? Then it's a question of how much the masking really matters. Or if it's going to be applied on a poster. Is the background itself blue? Well, make sure to have that stated first so you don't do too much work. I will create a color underneath this image, and we will look to a bit more dark blue color, I think. Something like this, maybe. Uh, Sky, and I think I'll oops, change some opacity there, and I leave it underneath this original image. And now I want to use the color range tool beneath the selection in the head menu, and by clicking this color, similar colors will be chosen in this image. I choose to tap some here as well to make sure that I have a good selection. Okay, as you can see now, these areas are white. I actually selected this area. So why isn't it white? Because I want to reveal that. That's my selection, right? I made this earlier. So by default, it's like this. because I actually selected this area. So this is supposed to be shown at the first step. But if I want this blocked out and I want this to be shown, I need to do like this, okay? I press OK and I have my selection. And now I go for a layer mask. There we go. So the color is quite close, right? It's not too far away from the blue color in the sky, I think. So what I want to do now is, I think we're going to refine this mask as soon as we made some adjustments to the actual image. So I double click this smart object because that's what it is now. Remember, we're back in the camera raw editor, and now I'll decrease the exponent some more. I go for the SHL adjustment. I'll take back the blues. I think I make it darker. Now I will go for the sharpening, and I will choose a high frequency sharpening, not too much though. I'll have no sharpening in the edges, and for the masking I simply just deselect the sky, so there's no sharpening in the sky and these very sharp edges. Okay, let's see how the result is. So it's actually quite good. It fits the background to the sky quite neat. So how will we go further now? I think we could try to make some possible possible effects. That would be nice. So if I'll have, let's say, a white color beneath this blue color, I choose a solid color again. Let's make it white. I'll leave this under the sky. And now it's time for a new layer. And in this layer, I'll have a brush. So this is an old brush of mine. It's a photo of a paper. I hold down my Alt or Alt key on a Mac and I click right and I drag this to the left. And as you can see now, this is a paper I took an image of when it was on a wet ground. Quite cool actually. So let's see. I should probably have a strong color now, I think, to paint on, because what I'm going to do now is I'll leave this strong color and I will have this color burned because there is a blending mode I'll go for to let through the more highlighted color from this layer. So I'll choose, let's see, color burn. This, yes, it's this one. And now the brush is all over. So now it's more likely to be. I think we have to enlarge my brush a bit, or maybe duplicate it. Why? Let's just press backspace. Oops, that's the whole layer. I'll choose to make a selection instead. So Control A, or Command A to have a selection all over, and then backspace. Okay, so Control D to deselect. Now I'll think I rotate my brush a bit to make it vertical. Instead, I increase, oops, not so much. I wanted to increase the size, but it's very hard since it's um, actually very sensitive when it's so big. Okay, so that's one more. Yeah, I think I increase this layer just a bit, so I press Control T and I hold down the Alt key to make it from the middle. Okay, so these are quite big stars, right? Just look at this part over here. So maybe I can just color over it with a brush, or I could simply just take Control T again, rotate this part, zoom out a bit with Control Dash, hold down the Alt key, go to the middle, and then instead I'll copy this content by clicking Control J, drag this out, and to make it more randomized, I could press Control T, right click, and reflect this vertical, right? So let's see if I drag these out. I need some more. So I have another one, Control Q, and I'll think we're settled, right? Okay, quite nice then. This this color is very dark. So let's see if I can do something about this solid color. Well, if I let go here, I'll let go of everything. So then let's try a brush instead. Okay, I want to merge these, so I just left click this, hold down my shift key and left click, and then I press Control E. Paint brush, okay. And so now maybe I want to make the sky a bit more deep. Let's have another layer or solid color layer. I'm thinking of this color. Okay. And then I'll select the layer mask and press Control I as in invert. And now I'm going to use another brush that I've made. This is an old brush of mine. I call this sky brush. There's a harsh spread and there's a fine spread for this. And also I have some smoke here that I may be going to use later on, but let's start with the sky brush and the harsh spread. Okay, I want to paint inside the layer mask now, and I want to paint with white since I want to open it up. Here we go. There are some nice stars. And let's just paint around with these. And then I can also increase the size to this. And as you can see, there are just bigger stars. But if you want to diversify these stars amongst the small stars you make, I recommend you make a new layer with a quite intense color. And then you do the same thing. You click the layer mask, press Control I, and then you can start painting this new layer. Okay, so maybe that's it. I will now have some smoke into this. that means another layer like this. Maybe it's too bright. Let's invert this. I'll fetch the smoke brush. So let's see, oil smoke. Is okay. Thinking that it's too obvious. It's all smoke now. But if I just have, if I drop down the opacity, I can also press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, as you can see, and use these values to just have some brush strokes around. Maybe if I increase the size of this and rotate it again. There we go. Some another rotation. Then we'll have the other oil smoke. This is I think this should be a lighter or a bluer kind of color. So let's have another solid color layer and press OK and invert this and then have this kind of, yeah, nice effect. Too much there, I think. Let's go to this color. It's good. Let's turn it around. Okay, and these stars are probably too far or too close to us, I think. Yeah, that's better. And now let's have some more of them, but smaller, nearer to the front. I invert this layer and let's use the fine spread brush instead. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so pretty neat background image there. And some parts of the trees could actually be lowered down in color as well, I think. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to group this background image. So let's have them all selected and press Ctrl G. So sky back. And now I want to dodge and burn a bit. So what is dodge and burn? Dodge is burn is a kind of method on how to make a sort of easy kind of contrast. So what we're doing is we're going to make a new layer first. So press Ctrl Shift N as in new layer. And then you choose the blend mode. Wow, the English word overlay. And you choose to fill it with neutral gray color. You can also do this do this later, but when it's all stapled up like this, why not use it? I name this dodge and burn. Okay. Now for dodge and burn, you can just use an average brush. Absolutely. You can choose to work with uh, pencil. So let's see if I can just choose a pencil here, a soft round brush. Uh, no problem at all, as you can see. But the main thing is, if I use this pencil, it's very, very hard, right? And it goes through all kinds of areas. I want to use a pencil now that is much more soft on the building of contrast. I want to use a pencil that is sensitive for highlights or shadows. There's a tool called Dodge and Burn. So you press the short key O, you have a hand, and this hand simply means burn in English, like Swedish is efterbelis, and efterbelis uh, färg is also the Swedish word for color burn that we used in the sky back. So if we want to burn something here, we can choose in what way we want to burn it, because now I'm targeting to shadows, and I could also go for a higher speed in highlights. So if I choose highlights, this will go faster in highlights. If I choose shadow, this will go faster in shadows. So what I want to do is I want to concentrate on these trees, and I think it's mainly shadows now. There's probably not so many highlights. First of all, so I don't touch the blue nice color in the background, I need to make a clip mask. So I hold down my Alt key. I stand just between these two layers. You see I have another icon when I press Alt key and I click. So now it's a clipping mask. And now the sky in the background isn't affected by my by my burning, right? So I'll keep burning in these places. Let's increase this. I'll burn some here and in these areas. You can see this twig a bit better. No, it's just some nice touch up. It really makes a nice difference, especially in this area, I think. Melts together much better. That's maybe a bit too hard. Okay. And if we want to go the completely other way, we can just hold down the Alt key. If I hold down the Alt key now, I will use dodge. That's increasing light, as you can see. But I can see it here, and I cannot run it in highlights if I want to. It's still a shadow as when I began doing the burning. So, all right, that's some improvement to these parts. I think I will have a look back onto this because I identify the area here I'm not so satisfied with. Now I'm beginning to be picky. That's quite nice actually. Maybe I should run just the sky brush in this layer to improve the glare of some stars. So I choose white and let's see, let's change it to 100% opacity. Is there any difference? You know, paint some stars, but I cannot see it too well. Ah, there you can see the little blue areas. I might need to increase the size uh, of the brush. It's too weak. Okay, okay, but that's fine. I don't have to be this picky in the moment. Just have a soft round brush and erase this part. Okay, so let's continue. There's going to be a moon here, and this is simply for me to show you how you can use the 3D tool inside Photoshop. There are amazing opportunities to implement 3D, but I cannot recommend it in Photoshop, unfortunately. It's a bit slow and it's not as effective as I would like it to be. However, it's really cool to do some short effects in a simple way and to try out some 3D. So if you want to, I definitely think you should do that. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'll embed a new image, and this is going to be the moon surface, and let's spread it so it's covering the whole image now. Okay, press OK, and then now we have the layer. It's set, and what we can do with a new layer is we tell the new layer that this layer is the actual UV mapping of our new 3D image. So I go to the 3D in the head menu and I choose a new mesh from layer, and there is a preset of meshes, and there is a sphere in this mesh preset. You're going to create a new 3D layer. Would you like to change to the 3D workspace? Yes, I can do that. It's actually not that much of a difference. Okay, so it's very dark. Why it's so dark then? This is the light, so maybe if I change the light, there will become some sort of difference. No difference yet. Bit strange, I must say. Okay, so if I click this tool, this is the free workaround tool, if we call it like this, and I should be able to. Oh, this is the size, right? There should be some sort of a bounding box here. Where is the bounding box? So I press show and let's see for 3D, is there a way to show everything 3D. Now I cannot find it, but this is a 3D menu. And let's see, there is the sphere material. And this is the okay, so never mind. Let's do this again. Let's just do it the first time as I made it. I'll embed the image. There we go. There's the moon surface. I press OK. Then I go to the 3D. I go to the new mesh from layer and preset mesh. There's the sphere. It's still so dark then, and still can't get a hold of the object as I'm used to. Never mind. I'll go to the 3D panel, I'll choose the material, and this is the glow. I wonder why the glow is so very unglowy now. So this is, we get this just simply because we didn't scale the image to the top this time. So if I want to change this, I'll have to go to this part. So if I click this object, I can go to its material and I can go for the texture. I choose to edit the texture, and in this texture I press Ctrl T to expand this like this, and then I press OK. I'll save and I'll leave this. Okay, so now it's closed. All right, I'll go to the material again, and also, as you can see, you can change its structure here as well. I would like to increase the glow even more, something like this. And now I think I will minimize the filters and everything, and I will put these underneath the treetops. There we go. If you want to leave this mode, this is 3D mode, and you leave this just by simply choosing another tool, the move tool or the 3D pimpette, then you're back again. So just choose another tool or choose another layer, and it's gone. I choose the move tool again because I want to decrease the size of this ball, and you have this kind of orientation tool within your object, and it's quite cool to use that because with the cube you can change the scale like this. There is also a dedicated tool for this just in the toolbar, and you can move the different kinds of axles here. I think I would like to put this way of the image. So there's yeah, you have different kind of ways to orientate this object. So this is kind of neat, right? What I would like still is to have some sort of cloud just over the moon. So I think I'll have, why not just make a copy of any of these layers? Let's take this, for example. I'll press Ctrl J and I move this layer up over the moon surface. Wow, it's big. It's really big, but I can try to switch color like this. Oh, this is kind of nice. Maybe I should just orientate it a bit better. like this maybe. Okay, so this is sweet. Cool. Now the actual moon will have some glow itself. Let's just um, yeah, and there's a lot of different ways you can do this, but I think the best way is probably to use some kind of solid color here as well. Of course, we could use like curve or exposure. I really like using the single colored adjustment layers, and I choose a really bright color now. And I would like this inverted. And now, while it's inverted, I will do the same thing as I did with the car. I will use the gradient tool. So, okay, so now I'm in the 3D workspace. I go to workspace and choose for the essential. Now I have the gradient tool again. And this is the layer mask. This is from white to black. Radial gradient. Let's make it from the moon and towards the outside of the moon. Okay, so this is too small. This is a bit better. This is almost the same. Same. This is nice. Okay, maybe not that far. Something like this. Okay, I like this. Maybe the clouds could just have some opacity, right? And now let's see if we could spice it up some more, because there is a quite bluish color here, and we could just have some other color to have some, yeah, fresh feeling in this one. Okay, so there it is. There is the night sky image. Why not download the images and brushes I will provide you with, and try this out yourself. So good luck. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.